My name is John Wilkinson. I'm the Director of Athlete, Coach, and Official Development for Football New Brunswick, and I am here to teach you how to film a football game. Let's jump into it. What is film? So obviously it's a game of football that is being filmed by somebody, and we're using it to empower our coaches, our athletes, and our officials. And really, when we talk about coaches and officials, coaches and players, there are two strategic reasons we use it for, and one of them is corrections, and the other one's preparation. So corrections is when we're going to study our own film and we're going to try to correct mistakes and get ourselves better to prepare for our next game. While preparation is we're watching another team's film and trying to learn what they do, trying to, find their weaknesses, what are their strengths, and prepare for them. Film can also be used as a reference point or evidence if there's a breach of policy during the game, some misconducts, anything that needs to be reviewed at a further date to see what really happened. So because without film, it's they said, we don't know what really happened until we actually see the film. So we'll talk about equipment. Realistically, the only thing you need to film a football game is a smartphone. An iPad works. Any really modern digital camera that allows you to upload film to something will work. A tripod is also a great piece of kit. It's not essential, but it's going to make your job a lot easier. You won't have to worry about keeping the camera stable, and you can have your arms kind of free during the game. You're not stuck holding the camera the whole time. Vantage points. So film, obviously, you want it filmed. The higher, the better, right? So in stadiums, that's easy. Unfortunately, on the fields that we're going to be filming at, this can be a little more challenging. So bleachers, 99% of the time, that's what you're going to use. Unfortunately, some fields won't have any bleachers. So what are you left to do? A ladder is your best friend. The team you're filming for, if you guys know that you're going to be on a field without bleachers, try and organize with the head coach or the GM if they have one to have a ladder at the game. Worst case scenario, film from the ground. Something's better than nothing. You may run into some really other advanced equipment out there like AI-based cameras or drones. And if you're ever asked to use those, obviously ask for training, right? You don't want to fly a drone into a power line and then have somebody tell you owe them $1,000 or something, right? So, but realistically, it's most likely going to be your own phone or you're given an iPad. And that's all you really need for good film. So some basic guidelines. Okay, so having an understanding of the rules of the game of football are going to help you big time. You're going to be able to predict whistles and understand how the game flows and when to film, what not to film, et cetera, et cetera. If you are brand new to the sport of football and you've been asked to film a game and you have some time, talk to the coach that's asked you to do it and maybe ask for a quick rundown on how the game works. If you have more time, contact your minor association. You can contact me as well. My contact info will be at the end of this presentation, and I'd be happy to give you a basic understanding of the game of football. So probably the most important thing here is you want to pause in between plays. I've had times where a game has been filmed in one big clip, and that makes for a lot of work on the tail end because you have to edit it. When you film in little clips, they get uploaded as clips, and then they're pretty much ready to be watched, minus a few little editing things probably. So when do you start recording? Ideally, when the offense gets in their huddle, at some point in their huddle, you want to start recording. Some coaches will tell you differently because they want to be efficient with their time and they want to watch it from the line of, from when the team is set on the line of scrimmage. But for your sake, start recording from the huddle because you're not going to miss anything. You'll be prepared every time. It gives you a bit of if you are distracted, it gives you a bit of a chance to correct before the play is being run. When you want to stop recording, it's a little different. So when the whistle blows, you want to wait a couple seconds after. So give it a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and then stop recording. And the reason you want to do that is in case something happens after the play. We talked earlier about how film can be used as a reference point or evidence for when something goes wrong. That's usually going to be after a play. Sometimes during a play, but for the most part, after a play. Football's an emotional game. Tempers can run high. People can make mistakes. So if you ever see something fishy or, somebody aggressively approaching somebody else on the field after a whistle, keep filming. And just an extra little point here, the play is done when the whistle blows. And that's usually going to happen after a player's tackled to the ground, they score a touchdown, they run out of bounds, an incomplete pass, certain penalties will stop a play, et cetera, et cetera. Again, if you're looking for more information on that, you can reach out to me and we can go over it. If you're ever unsure, so like I said, football's full of rules, a lot of whistles. If you're ever unsure if you should be filming or not, just film. It's better to have it, not need it, than need it and not have it. And let's quickly go over the no huddle offense, because this could make your life a little complicated if you're filming the game. No huddle is usually used in a situation where a team is behind, not by much, and they don't have much time to work with. So they're going to stop huddling. And we talked that this is a great reference point for you to start filming. All of a sudden, this team is going to start rushing to the line of scrimmage and starting to run as many plays as they can in a very short amount of time. So if you are uncomfortable timing that up, just film the whole drive. And there'll be some editing at the tail end of it, but it's better to just edit a drive than the whole game, right? So this is a situation where it's okay to continuously film. Okay. Oh, a little added point on the no huddle. If the clock stops, and this, again, we're getting a little more in the weeds here, but I think I should mention it. So let's say they're in the no huddle offense. They throw the football lands on the ground. It's an incomplete pass. The clock will stop. There is a chance that they go back to, get into a huddle and call their play. But again, if you're new to this and you're uncomfortable, film the whole drive. Okay, we'll talk about wide and tight angles. So these are the two angles that you're going to film a football game from. We'll start with wide. So this is the most common one. We sometimes call it the sideline angle. So if you're asked to film wide or sideline, this is what they're talking about. I made a neat little diagram here. It shows you where you'll be filming from. I mean, you won't be right on the sideline, hopefully be in the bleachers. Ideally from a vantage point, right? So bleachers are going to be the thing you're going to be up in. It's a great angle to film a game from. And like I said earlier, if there's no bleachers, hopefully you have a ladder, or maybe there's a hill around the field you can use. Worst case scenario, you're filming from the ground. Okay, some tips for filming wide. Don't go crazy on the zoom. Zoom can ruin a clip. Okay. Wide angle, we want to have the entire offense and the entire defensive formation in the shot, right? You got to remember that when you're filming this is used not for academic purposes as opposed to entertainment. We're trying to get better as a team. So realistically, the coaches and the players need to see everything that's happening to have a full understanding of what went wrong during the play or what went right. So always ensure that you have a nice wide angle that includes both the offense and the defense. And remember that the players are more important than the ball. When we're watching a CFL game or an NFL game, the camera always, directly follows the ball. We want to see the big action, big deep pass, big catch, a big run, whatever. They're not usually too focused on the O-line and the D-line or a lot of pre-snap stuff. So that's why we want that big wide angle shot. And when it comes to following the players, you can, for the most part, you're going to be able to keep the ball and the players in the same shot. When you're filming, invisible iPad here in my hands, you don't need to drastically change the angle. It's a slight adjustment and you get to keep everything in. These pictures are a perfect example. So here it's this recently at the Canada Cup, BC here has the ball. They're on the 41-yard line. Okay. And then we see here that the tackle is made around center field. Well, you'll notice the angle hasn't really changed much. It's a slight adjustment, and they're still in that nice wide shot, keeping everybody in the play. This is what we're looking for. Now, obviously, some plays are going to be more explosive or go downfield very fast. Like if they were to throw the ball and, throw like a Hail Mary type play. Again, it's important to see the end result of the play, but we're also very, very, preoccupied on what's happening here. So in that kind of play, you're going to adjust, but just don't do it so drastically, right? It's a nice gentle angle. Watch, the guy catch the ball or drop the ball or whatever, but make sure it's not drastic. Okay, tight angle. So this is mostly used by competitive teams. Okay, you might, but for the most part, you're going to film in wide. They might ask you to film tight. It's also called the end zone angle. If you're asked to film there, you're going to be filming from the end zone. Again, this is another one where, ideally you want a vantage point. Some teams bring out scissor lifts or have machines or whatever, have bleachers there that are going to give you that nice vantage point. If you're stuck, a ladder or the ground, right? Just, do your best with what you have. So some tips for filming tight angle. So wide angle, we got that whole, like everybody in the field, right? Tight, we're filming the box. And what the box is the space between the most exterior offensive linemen. Okay, so here in this case, it's both offensive tackles. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse right there. Okay, but just know that the offense might put a tight end in or have somebody else on the line. And in that case, that would be the box. Okay, you'll notice here that the camera operator included a nice gap between the offensive tackle here and the edge of the shot. This is what we're looking for right here. This is a perfect example, okay? So filming tight can be a little more complicated on the front end than wide because you need to establish your zoom early. So we talked about starting recording when they're in the huddle. This is a great time to adjust your zoom because realistically here, you're going to be in the far end zone filming people that are quite far away. So you want to get that set quick. But the nice thing is once your shot has been set, there's not much else to do, right? There's way less adjustments you have to make filming tight than you would in wide. Yeah, like I said, focuses on the box. Okay, so one thing, fun tip here, tight film is used a lot. Like the run game is great to watch tight film in, right? Because we have a clear view of the offensive line and what they see, and we can see, it's just a lot clearer than wide would be, right? This is a great tool tip for offensive linemen, defensive linemen, box players. Okay. So uploading film. So now you've recorded the game, and what do you do next? You need to upload it to a film sharing service. If you're watching this tutorial, you're probably using Watch Game Film. There'll be a link included with this presentation that will give you access to a video tutorial from Watch Game Film that explains how to upload, share, and manage your film. You can also visit the Football New Brunswick website, and there's a dedicated web page with this tutorial and other tutorials to help you in filming games. You might also encounter huddle and quick cuts. Those are two other common ones that are floating around New Brunswick. Thankfully, all of these programs, platforms, they talk to each other. You're able to share from quick cuts to Watch Game Film, for example. And if you're ever stuck, huddle, quick cuts, and Watch Game Film, great customer service. You can reach out to them. They have tutorials, and if you're really stuck, reach out to me. I can point you in the right direction. Get on a Google call with you or a phone call or whatever it is, and help you figure out what you need to figure out. If you're a coach watching this and you're interested in understanding how to watch film in order to better prepare your team for game day, you're looking to understand how to tag film, how to watch it, what to look out for, please contact me and we can organize an online workshop for you and your staff. My contact info is right there. Again, I'm John Wilkinson. I'm the Director of Coach, Athlete, and Official Development for Football New Brunswick. My email is right there, my phone number. I would love to hear from you and we can get something started. If you want to include your athletes as well, the better they understand film, it'll work out for you. So like I said, it's been a pleasure. John Wilkinson, Football New Brunswick. And if you ever have any questions on game film or just anything football related, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you out.